Professor Don Bush. I've been a CPA for about 30 years and a professor for about 30 years, and I've got lots of terrific ways to explain accounting, so I'm glad you're here. Today we're studying intermediate accounting. It's the second example of uses of cash. And folks, if you understand the sources and uses of cash, understanding the cash flow statement is so easy. Nothing to it. So let's get started. This is Fred Snowblower Service once again, and this is a different example. So let's take a quick look at it to see if we can figure out what's going on. Well, here's cash provided by operations, operating activities. And this is money that's generated by selling and fixing snowblowers. And it's positive, very good sign. So it's a big source of cash. Why is it so important? Well, it's the only sustainable source of cash. So that's why we want to look at it. Cash provided by investing activities. Well, it looks like he's purchasing equipment and he's sold some land for $100,000. Overall, cash provided by investing activities, $96,000. And we have cash provided by financing activities. Looks like a decrease in notes payable. He's paying down some debt. Paid dividends, paying some money to the owners. That's a good thing. Net change in cash is a whopping $112,000 positive. So he's got $112,000 more than he had at the beginning of the period. Now, is that $112,000 the most important number? If you've been watching these videos, you know the answer is no. The most important number is right here, cash provided by operating activities, $31,000, and it is positive in this example. So let's go through the sources and uses. If you know the four sources, it's easy to remember the four uses. The four sources of cash. The first one here, the most important one, cash generating operations. Second one, selling assets, selling off equipment, selling off land, buildings. Borrowing money as a source of cash. And owner investments. Now, out of these four sources of cash, three of them are severely limited, but one of them is sustainable, and the sustainable one is cash generating operations. Now, if you know the four sources, the four uses are easy because they are just the opposite. So the four uses, here we go. The first one is operations not generating cash. Well, that's the opposite of cash generating operations. And then we have purchasing assets rather than selling assets, and paying down debt rather than borrowing. And we have owner withdrawals rather than owner investments. So coming down here to the cash flow statement, once again, this is the exact same cash flow statement as up above. I'm just marking it up a bit so it's easier to understand. So here we go once again. So folks, a big source of cash for Fred is his operations. That's a very good sign. That's the first place I look. And last time, with the last example, we had accounts receivable. There was a big problem with accounts receivable. Accounts receivable were increasing. Well, this time accounts receivable are decreasing. And when accounts receivable are decreasing, that means people are paying what is owed. A very good thing for Fred. And that's why a decrease in accounts receivable is a positive cash flow. So this is much better. Now, coming down here to investing activities here, a big use of cash for Fred was purchasing equipment. And even though the number is negative, it's a negative $4,000, this is a good sign, folks. It's good for businesses to invest in themselves and keep up with technology. And of course, Fred sold some land. There we go. And coming down to financing activities, it looks like Fred is paying down a note payable. So he's paying off a debt, and that's a big use of cash. And maybe that's a very good thing for Fred to do. And paying out dividends, this is also a good thing. I love it when businesses pay out dividends. They pay out earnings to owners. This is a use of cash. So it looks like financing activities is a negative number, but it could all be good. So I'd say Fred has got a pretty darn good cash flow statement going here. One more time, what's the most important number on this cash flow statement? Is it the bottom line number, 112,000? I hope you said no by this time. It is operations. That's the most important number. That's the first place to look on this cash flow statement. You want it to be positive and not negative. So if this video helped you out and if you liked it and you learned a bit, well, subscribe button and let me know. And until next time,